Fed Smart podcast. We've got great info for you guys. We've been enjoying recording these podcasts and getting the feedback and going through so much good information. If there's any topics that you guys need us to go through, let us know. But as always, I'm Jesse Black. That's Steven Puckett. And today we're going to do a quick updated podcast, but very pertinent topic talking about the TSP and retirement and specifically the withdrawal rules with the TSP, but then a few things also to know when you're retired, when you're in the blessed promised land of retirement and you're starting to use that TSP. How can you use it? What are some things to be aware of and some things to consider? So we're just going to dive right into it. I'm not going to let Steven tease me today and talk about how he puts up with me. We're just going to jump right into it and go through some great info. So the TSP in retirement, when you're going to withdraw, there's basically three ways that you can pull from the TSP in retirement. You can do a combination of the three, but there's three different ways to access your money, and you do it right online for most things. You just go right to tsp.gov. If you haven't created multi-factor authentication, getting texted a code, you have to do that because when you're going to start the withdrawals, you have to be texted a code when you initiate the withdrawals. Also, one other little tidbit, one other little hack, if you will. A lot of people don't like that word. I get emails. They don't like the word hack, but that's what my kids say.
Everyone's
So it's
so
another,
sensitive now, I tell you.
yeah, so sensitive, but it's what my kids say. So I say hack, a cool hack, but a cool little tip to help you out is go in and add your bank account information in there now, because in the future, if you want to withdraw, whether monthly or a lump sum withdrawal, what have you, it takes at least 7 days for an account to be in there. You have to have a 7 day waiting period when you add an account for security purposes for money
It's
to be
to the
sent
day,
there.
not the hour, too. It just
Yeah.
has to be the same day you're waiting.
Yeah, so 7 calendar days, not business days. If you add it on a Friday, next Friday you can then request funds there. But if you haven't added it yet, add your bank account in there so that when you go need a withdrawal, the basement's flooding, you need money tomorrow or within a couple days, your bank account's already in there and you can request that. So that's a little tip
That
for
goes
you.
for rollovers, IRAs as well. The company
Yeah.
has to be in there for at least a week.
Yeah, so if you're planning on rolling some money in the future and you know your account, the account's already established, go ahead and throw it into the financial institutions section of your TSP. You can always remove it later too if you're going to go to a different IRA. You don't have to just do that one, but if you want to have it ahead of time, get in there, look at financial institutions. What could you add there? So once you have some financial institutions, you have three ways that you can pull from your money. And the first one and most simple is basically a lump sum withdrawal. You can say, I want X number of dollars. I want this much put into my bank account, or if your bank account's not in there, send you a check. So you can choose a lump sum. What's nice is once they finally or finalize that withdrawal, you can do another one. So you can only have one lump sum withdrawal going at a time, but you can do multiple lump sum withdrawals within a month or, a famous one. Stephen, this actually happened to a client back in the older rules, but they went on vacation. They pulled out a lump sum of money and they lived in Pennsylvania. They came back from their tropical vacation to find that their pipes had froze and they were thawing out just in time for them to get home. So their basement was flooding. They needed some more money. They had some money in CDs and things like that, but they wanted some money from TSP to be able to pay for that basement. Well, back then, you have to wait every 30 days. You have to wait 30 days in between withdrawals. And so they had to wait and ended up having to cash in a CD and lose some of the interest on that to pay for their money, their basement getting fixed while they were waiting for insurance to kick in. Now
That was
you,
actually way better than it even used to be.
yeah, true, true, yeah. Don't leave them hanging. Tell them what it used to be real quick.
Well, I mean, years ago, it was you could take one withdrawal and the next one you'd have to close your TSP out altogether. So,
Yep,
I
pull it
mean,
all out.
when they introduced the with multiple withdrawals once every 30 days, that was a pretty big deal. And like Jesse's saying now, that's gone too. You can do multiple withdrawals within a month. You just have to wait for the first one to process, but they're getting there.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe they'll change one other thing that we'll talk about later, which is proportionate withdrawals, maybe,
Oh yeah.
but we're hoping. But so you can do lump sum withdrawals as soon as yours has been processed and it's out. then there'll be another, you can go back in there and click the get started button and choose another lump sum withdrawal. One little side note on that before we talk about option two, you can now pick and choose to pull from Roth or traditional. You used to also have to pull proportionately from Roth and traditional, but now when you're choosing a lump sum, you can say pull all from my Roth, all from my traditional, or some Roth, some traditional. You can pick and choose which account to pull from, which is nice for tax purposes, which we'll briefly talk about taxes actually in a future podcast. We're not going to go too much into taxes today. The second option when it comes to withdrawals, so you've got your lump sum was one. The second one is what's called systematic payments. So you can set up like monthly payments if you want.
I think it's called installment on the site.
Installment, yeah.
Yeah.
I've used the word systematic for years, so thank you for catching me on that. When you go into the website,
It's
like
all the
Steven
same.
said, it's called installment payments if you really want to get technical. Thanks, Steven. You saved me a lot of emails. Installment payments is what you get, or you can elect, and you can set up like a monthly withdrawal if you want and say, okay, in addition to my pension and my Social Security or whatever you have flowing in, we want $2,000 a month, right? Or you can set it up and you get to choose the amount. Okay. You get to say, I want this much, and you can change it in the future and you can stop it by calling TSP. In the past, once we started installment payments, they could never be stopped. They could be reduced down to like, I think it was 250 a month, but they never stopped. Now you can change them and you can stop them if you need to in the future. So if you, and then you, like we said, we can do a combo now. So if you start that $2,000 a month and then you want $5,000 lump sum in the future, to go on vacation or whatever, you can pull out the $5,000 and then it won't impact your installment payments. So you can have that installment payments flowing in. Then, is anything else on installment payments? I feel like
Well,
I'm
just
missing
a
something.
real, I know we're going to talk about taxes in a future one, but they do automatically withhold 20% federal taxes from your withdrawals. So if you're going to do lump sum or installment payments and you want to net 2000, make sure you're asking for more.
Yeah, and what's cool is the TSP website will actually show you right on there
Yeah.
how much is going to be in federal withholding, and you can increase your withholding if you want, but for
Yep.
most withdrawals, you can't go lower than that. But it'll show you, like Steven's saying, if I'm pulling out $10,000, then they're going to be withholding 2,000. So the net payment coming to me is 8,000. So you can plan accordingly and play with it. So if you actually need 10,000 take home, you know how much to put in after taxes. You're walking away with your 10,000 that you need for that Disney cruise that we all are going to be taking at some point. So yes, you do want to plan for taxes accordingly. As Steven said, that's definitely a key point. And then option number three to know about. What is option number three, Steven? Give us the name of option number three.
It is the TSP annuity. That is,
TSP
yeah.
annuity.
Yes,
Yep.
and lots of nuances to that one. Definitely do your research before you go down that road because it's
Yeah.
irrevocable. You can't change it once you select it, but it's basically turning in whatever portion you want of your TSP into a lifetime income stream. And then there's a lot of different options within
Yeah,
it.
there's like 18, I think, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty
Yes.
sure there's 18 annuity options where you can choose it for, just your lifetime or your and your spouse's lifetime, or something called period certain where you want a 10-year annuity. Now, the key here with the TSP annuity, the word annuity is very broad. There are all different types of annuities out there, but with the TSP annuity, you're actually doing something called annuitizing. It's the verb, which means to turn money into an income stream. And you're basically, for a lack of better term, buying an income stream. So, like Steven said, you can decide to use all your TSP, some of your TSP, and buy an income stream from it. That is now, once you get that income stream can't be stopped and it can't be changed based on one of the 18 options that you picked. So if you say, I want income for the rest of my life, and you trade in $200,000, and in exchange they say, okay, we'll give you $1,200 a month. That's not the actual math. I'm just giving an example. They're going to give you $1,200 a month as long as you live. Well, if you choose that option and then you pass away just 2 months later, unfortunately, the remaining portion is now gone. You traded in that money in exchange for a lifetime payment for the rest of your life. Now, to be clear, there is options that you can choose where you could have, a death benefit with what's left, or you could choose it to last you and your spouse's life. I'm just giving you an example. And like Steven said, maybe a year later, you're like, I don't need this 1,200 a month and I don't want it anymore. I changed my mind. I want my money back. You can't do that. Or I need more. I want more than
Reminds me of
1,200.
JG Wentworth, those
Yeah.
commercials.
It's my money and I need it now. Now you guys know why that annoying commercial exists, because
Exists,
there
yeah.
are people locked into a income stream. They annuitize. Not all annuities are like that, but the TSP annuities you've annuitized, and JG Wentworth is helping you. So somebody who they've used up all the rest of their TSP and they have $1,200, but they need like $40,000 to renovate the bathroom or whatever. JG Wentworth or whoever. This is not an advertisement for JG Wentworth.
We're
We
not
don't work with
sponsored
you.
by JG Wentworth.
Well,
Uh,
maybe we should say we are.
this
Maybe
went
we'll
a
get some
weird
kickback.
direction. I didn't mean to bring that one
It
up.
did.
Yeah.
It's my money and I need it now. You can tell Steven and I like our television. We watch our
Yes.
football.
Oh
And
man.
so with that's why you're locked in, and that's why that type of thing exists though, because there's no flexibility, like Steven said. You can't say, "Oh, I don't want 1,200 anymore. Now I want 800 and give me back 30,000," or anything like that. It is now locked in and it's irreversible, other than if JG comes to the rescue. So it's irreversible. Make sure that's really what you want to do, as well as you look at, other options outside the TSP. We're not saying don't stay in the TSP or stay in the TSP, but there's some IRA options as well that could be more efficient to accomplish your goals, maybe. Because one other thing to know, so those are your three withdrawal options. We've got the lump sum withdrawal, we've got the ability for installment payments, and then we've got the annuity option, and we can do a combination of the three. Okay, so we've got that available. But one thing to know, when you take a withdrawal from the TSP, the withdrawal has to come out proportionately how you're allocated. What I mean by that is, let's say that we retire and we were in the market the whole time until we retired, and now that we retire, we want to go more moderate, for example. And I'm not saying do this, but maybe you have 50% C, 50% G as an example. Then you want to take out that $10,000 to go on that Disney cruise with your grandkids, and you say, I need my $10,000, but the market is way down, Stephen. My C fund is bleeding big time right now, or it's down. Leave my C fund alone, only pull from my G fund. We can't do that. If I'm 50% C, 50% G, then I have to pull out proportionately and have my $10,000 withdrawal. Five is going to come from C, 5,000 is going to come from G, because it has to come proportionate. May not sound like a big deal, but it can be a big deal, especially like how dollar cost averaging worked for you before retirement. Maybe dollar lost averaging could work against us, where if we're pulling installment payments and I've got a good portion in the C, I'm pulling at different share classes, and I can't say, oh, don't do my installment payment, this time or whatever. It's kind of a process to stop it. You can't pick and choose which fund to pull from, which can be sometimes a bit of a bummer. So be aware of that when you go to get your withdrawals. Now, withdrawals from the TSP, if you already have your bank account in there and you need a lump sum, that can hit your account in maybe 2 to 3 business days, maybe 5 business days at the longest. So it hits pretty quick. And when you do your lump sum payments or your installments, if it's happening on a holiday or a weekend, it'll go out the next time there's a business day. So just plan accordingly when you need those withdrawals and how to set it up. And the best thing to do, really, in our opinion, is to talk to a financial professional that understands the TSP. How much realistically could you do in installment payments and not run out of money? And how much could you potentially pull in addition to that? And what's a good amount to have in your emergency discretionary funds? So there's a lot to consider. We're not saying to do one option over the other. There's a lot of things to look at, but those are the three main ways you can pull from your TSP, updated, because when we did that before about 3 years ago, a lot of the information that we gave is no longer applicable. So we wanted to do an update on those three withdrawals options from your TSP in retirement. If you're wondering maybe some, ways to allocate or some ways to maximize it, one thing you can do too, talk to a financial professional. You can also go to federalretirementcourse.com. We don't give financial advice, but we do have a lot more details there. We also have tspcourse.com that breaks out the TSP portions. We've got all kinds of resources to help you out. Next week, we're going to do a Q&A. Next podcast, we're going to do a Q&A. So if we've come up with some questions for you, let us know. We'll get those questions answered for you on our next episode, which, Stephen, what's our next episode?
Q&A.
Q&A. You've got questions. Stephen has answers. So we're here for you. We appreciate our FedSmart community. Hey, if you're not following us on YouTube, go follow us on YouTube. We just passed 95,000 followers on YouTube. Woo! We're trying to catch Facebook.
We're almost to that silver button.
Yeah.
Is that a thing still?
I don't, yeah, I mean, I think it's now like 500,000. So please go follow us there so we can get that plaque. And when you guys see the plaque on our back walls, you'll be like, I helped with that. So go follow our YouTube channel, FedSmart Podcast. If you Google FedSmart Podcast, you can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. Share it with your friends. We appreciate our FedSmart community. Some of the greatest people. You can also
schedule with us on fedsmartretirement.com as well. Yep. And then follow us on our Facebook page. We'll keep you up to date almost daily on stuff to know about.
Yep. We'll see you there. We appreciate our FedSmart community. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Q&A. Awesome. We'll see you guys.
FedSmart Podcast is meant for informational purposes only and should not be taken as financial advice or tax advice. FedSmart Podcast is not affiliated with any government agency or OPM. Jesse Black and Steven Puckett offer advisory services through Integrity Wealth. Integrity Wealth and FedSmart are not affiliated. If you'd like an appointment, please go to fedsmartretirement.com and schedule a free one-on-one appointment. Thank you.